I'm Diego Cordovez.
Adam Schoenfeld.
Welcome to The Scoop, brought to you by Full Tilt Poker. And last week we had Phan, card player of the year, and a renowned champion, two-time World Series of Poker champion. And he was very interesting, and we brought him back for episode number 2. So if you missed part 1, it is in the Card Player Archives and Card Player TV. You want to make sure you watch that so that you don't get lost as we start part 2. But here's Phan.
You say that you slowed down. What made you do that?
Because it's like actually experiment come and when you're really young back then, I'm very fearless, and now I pick my spot. If I'm really hard, then I'll play whatever card I have to. But I'm not going to. I stay away from the big stack if they raise. I'm not going to get too creative with them.
Is it also because the overall style of play just out there has changed? Because, when we started playing against each other 10 years ago, 8 years ago, it was very rare for someone to be as loose and as aggressive as you were. And just that aggression itself was a very powerful weapon. Now that so many young guys have learned to play on the internet, it's like aggression by itself isn't enough anymore, and you have to counter that to some degree. I mean, is part of the adjustment just based on the fact that the opponents have changed a lot, or is it more just a matter of experience and more, learning from mistakes and improving?
No, you're right. Just like right now, just like Diego say, all the online kids, they watch a lot of TV and they're so good online, and before you would see a kid at a table, they just want to beat you. They don't care what they have. Mm-hmm. They just follow you, just want to, because you is who you are. They don't care if they give you all the chip. They just play against you every single pot. But nowadays, all these kids, they're I admit, all these online kids, they're 21 to 22, 3, 4. They're so good, and sometimes you can't even read them. They're really good, and that's why all these old school guys can't even win no more, because we're young kids are super aggressive and good, and if they put a read on you where they put it on the turn when you have a flush run overcard, you can't really want to risk all your chips.
Right.
And they don't care if they have nothing,
But you're an old school guy, and you have been very successful, so is it a matter of you making some big adjustments in order to maintain your success, or you just had a style that was able to work whereas other people didn't?
No, you have to have a big adjustment, and I'm very fortunate where I have a gift where not a lot of people have, where I can read my card really well sometime, and catch a lot of cards. I get lucky when I need to get lucky, and stay away from them whenever I need to stay away, lay down pocket queen or ace king. Before, I would never be able to lay down ace king before a flop or pocket queen. I would, no matter what you have, but now if I have big stack, I would queen is easy for me to lay down. If I triple my chip up, I have the same amount of chip on a big event, and I raise, he re-raise, I re-raise, the guy just chip it on it. And sometimes I do that when I lay down with queen, the guy is so many ace king, but a lot of people play so powerful with ace king. I don't agree with that, but a lot of people still do nowadays. I'm just afraid of ace king. I don't the other day, some point where a guy raised, re-raised, and I just saw ace king, I just mug. I don't I'm so afraid with ace king, and what if they get that pocket jack or 10, you still be nothing, no good.
Yeah, you're still behind.
Yeah.
The funny thing with ace king to me is that it still remains a very good move in hand, and it doesn't mean you have to, but there are situations where it's the right. But a lot of people feel it's automatic to call with the ace king. They just won't give it up. They'll make a raise. There'll be a big re-raise, and they're it can't be that bad, and they're in. And maybe it's a good gambling hand early or something, but that's the thing that's interesting. And I don't know. I still probably don't lay it down too often, just because it's a chance to accumulate a lot of chips.
So what are you going to do? Let's assume you do win the Card Player of the Year, which it looks like very strongly now. Are you going to play a lot next year and try to win it again? You're going to take it more slowly, only play the big events?
Actually, next year I won't play that much tournament. I won't fly to everywhere this year. I fly to the Bahamas, London, Macau, Philippines.
You really went everywhere.
That's as far as you can go.
I went all around the world. It's I'm getting
if you went to Macau, then you really you went everywhere.
And I went to London. I went Canada, Niagara Falls, all the East Coast tournament.
You get tired of traveling, right?
Yeah, I get plus I've been traveling since 2003, so it's
You like to spend time in Vietnam. You make a lot of trips there, so it's a trade-off, because if you're traveling to all the poker tournaments, you can't spend as much time doing your visits and your charitable works in Vietnam.
Yeah, definitely, because I have my before when I just moved down from, I migrated from Vietnam in early '80 to Northern California, and I lived there about 10 years, and I moved down to LA like early '90, and from there I live on my own, and like I'm very distant with my family because I'm so busy. Where like I live down south, and I have like a go-to set. I want to be able to support my whole family, nephew, niece to college, and allow my family back home. So I'm really dedicated to work. So I don't get to see them a lot. Like where I grew up with them, I spent every single holiday with them. But now I get to like fly them like every other month or like only special occasion. But the last 3-4 years, I'm not saying like I'm really successful, but I did what I have to do. And
I'll say it. You're really successful. Go ahead. Yeah.
You
You're modest, but
you can't be more successful than you've been the
Yeah.
last 2 years.
Go ahead.
Yeah, last
Yes.
4 years. So
Of course.
I'm capable of doing like a lot of things, giving back a lot. So I do like a lot more charity work, and like every time I win like big, I would give my family like a percent of my winning, like 10-20%, and it just helped out a lot. And I like to support my whole family.
Adam and I don't need 10 or 20%. We'd settle for 2 or 3%.
I demand 10 or 20% of the earnings from my family. I do it the other way.
And then
But it's not just your family, but also in Vietnam.
You do
yeah,
charity.
I do charity work too, so I give them a portion of that also. And it's just such a good feeling when you can give back something to like. And once I donate like 34 tons of rice, and like I help out each trip I go back. I help out at least 2,000-3,000, sometimes 10,000-20,000 people where I could give
Yeah.
food to them, and nothing just feel better than that. Just like because I was been there, done that. I was once very poor, and now I'm very lucky where I have extra money where I can just give back, and that's like the best feeling. It's like winning a tournament.
That's
and
awesome.
Help out so much.
I mean, you talked about one thing. I mean, despite your youthful appearance, like you say, you've been playing for a long time, and in LA, grinding in the limit games and working your way up. And you're my favorite kind of story, which is the kind of the overnight success after a lot of work and a lot of grinding. So, what was kind of was there a big epiphany or something that happened that suddenly you started to really do well in the big tournaments after playing for a long time in live games and in smaller tournaments?
Actually, yeah. Before I was grinding so much on the limit game, like I started out with really low, 3-6, 6-12. It's like every year, it's like go to college. Every limit you play, you have to win it consistently, like 3 out 5 days a week. Then you pass that level, then play 15-30, then 30-60, then you go 40-80, then you go 100-200, then you go 400-800.
When did you start playing professionally? I mean, really just full time?
When I was 21.
90s?
Yeah.
Because and you propped and played.
Yeah,
But, I mean,
HP.
Your real tournament success started like in the early 2000s, maybe in 2002 or 3.
Yeah.
So I mean, were you not playing a lot of tournaments before that, or did the light come on and you realized there were some adjustments you needed to make to kind of translate into tournament success?
Actually, back then I was making so much, not a lot of money in cash game. I was consistent every day, $1,000, $2,000 a day. Sometimes playing the 480 game, you can win. Someday when I'm really high, I can win 10 rack. I was walking up ship like this, and like
With your style,
10,000.
with your style, that's possible.